So the E-LAi-sians are going to come in again, and they're going to transmit with the palms like they did before, where you hold them up at that angle, and they'll make balls around them and begin transmitting to open the conduits to your own plasma body, because that's what they're doing. They're holding open the conduits in the physical body to modulate the fields, to allow for frequency to come from your plasma body that's right now blocked off into yourself here. So yeah, hold them up a bit, and if you want the activation, just ask the guardians to assist you with that. It'd be great if we could go a little darker. Can we turn that light off? It doesn't really matter what we see with on the film right now. It's a lot of fun to play with this in the dark, like when you're, in your bed at night. If you can get complete, sensory blackout, you can see some really cool things sometimes on your own palms. Alrighty. Now they're saying, inhale from the bottom up into that area in your third chakra, and hold right there. And then very quickly, with your fingers still pointed up like that, exhale up and out your arms and out your fingertips. Okay. And then on the inhale, begin to breathe in through your fingertips. Breathe in plasmas. And do a few breaths like that. Breathe in the plasmas. Bring it down. Bring it down into your Ari-Yon'Ah sac. Hold it there and then exhale it gently into the center point of the Ari-Yon'Ah sac. They're saying breathe a few more breaths of the plasma through the fingertips. Use your fingertips to breathe. Inhale. And you may feel the tingle, your fingertips tingling. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Now, I wish I had a mic stand. All right. The next thing they'll have you do is, I'm trying to figure out how to hold this and show you at the same time. Let's see. After you've breathed in a little bit with, a few of these breaths where you're breathing in plasma from your fingers. Okay. So you can rest your arms down on your knees so your arms don't get tired. And you can still breathe in some more plasmas, but this time just keep it in, breathe it in through the fingertips and keep it in as if you're charging the little lotuses in your palm chakras. So feed the lotuses some plasma. There should come a point where you feel a little, almost like a wavy flutter on the tips of your fingers and the little tiny chakras on the tips of your fingers. If you load your lotuses in your palm chakras enough, it'll kind of they'll become full and they'll start filling up the fingers as well. So you'll feel the tingly as the plasma you're trying to breathe in through the fingertips hits the fullness of the plasma that's already in there. Once you feel that you've breathed in enough and you've loaded your plasma body hands and your lotuses, then bring your hands about, you can keep them down on your lap or whatever, but bring them about the width of a grapefruit apart. Palms facing each other. And then bend the fingertips toward each other, but don't touch them. And there will be a natural arc of plasma that forms between the fingertips. See if you can see it. Some people will be able to see it as little fuzzy, almost looking like squirts that go back and forth between the fingers. And play with those a little bit, push them a little bit toward each other and then pull them until you build the plasma strength a little bit. You can feel like a magnetic repulsion feeling. Plasma stretch. Once you start to feel a little bit of a plasma stretch with the fingers, then start reaching a stream of plasma out of the center of each palm lotus toward each other. And notice that the lotuses will pop out a little further, and they'll touch their petals to each other. And at a certain point, and again, move your hands gently back and forth to build that. It builds charge in the plasmas when you do that. And now you have the lotuses linked in the center. At a certain point, the lotuses will actually grab each other, and the tips of one will go into, like, down into the petals of the other, and vice versa. So it's like they hold hands. Once that effect occurs, if you don't see it, that's okay. Just try to feel the magnetic repulsion zone that is building in the plasmas. Because what you're actually doing is building a sack of water plasmas. It's aqua sac, they call it. Try to move the palms back and forth until you can feel about 2 inches or more of the plasma current. And look at it, turn your head just a little bit, and look at it out of the corner of your left eye. Because the whites are actually a bit more sensitive. You might be able to see it. Can anybody see it? Cool. Okay. Now, we're going to amplify it by breathing in from the point of our Ari-Yon'Ah sac. Inhale the frequency of the plasmas up, and exhale them down through the cords in the arms and down into the palms. I say now take a 2-point breath, pulling some plasmas down from up over your head and up from the Earth's core, and right into that spot near your YhU-RhA. That's all you need to know for now, near your YhU-RhA. Hold it there to build charge, and then exhale it down the palms. And just breathe normally for a little bit. And keep moving the palms back and forth to keep that charge building between the two lotuses. It's neat, I'm actually seeing like a blue-gray fuzzy swirly thing happening in between mine. All right, now they're saying gently move the palms this way. Still not touching them, but feeling that force field of plasma in between. But start circling them with your thumb still pointing towards you. Start circling them slowly. This will build the plasma sac. Sense the plasma filling out and more coming in, where a stronger link between the fingers now. That almost is like little plasma lightning bolts between the fingertips. Then you can again go in and out with them a little bit to build that charge. For those of you who want this activation, the guardians are saying that they will transmit a spark into your plasma sac that you've just built. So just kind of hold it up a little bit in front of you and keep it bouncing a little bit. That keeps the vibration running through it. All right. And if you want the spark, they will let it go when you inhale up. So just inhale through your fingertips and it'll pull the spark in. Just hold for a little bit. And then exhale back down through the palm chakras. And watch a little like starburst effect happen in the plasma ball that you're building. Now, saying, bring the plasma ball over. And you're actually going to drink of its waters. And bring it. And it's funny, it's like you have to move it just so, or you kind of drop it. And then you have to build it up again. Bring it over, where you can just gently inhale it. Get your lips to where you can actually feel a little fuzzy if you move your lips toward it. There's a certain spot, if you move real slow, it'll be like a little fuzzy membrane you can feel. Might make your lips tingle a little. When you feel that, then gently just inhale. And inhale it all the way down to your sac in chakra 3, your Ari-Yon'Ah sac. And hold it there and feel it puff out your tummy a little bit. Like literally. Inhale it big and pull it all the way down where it puffs out your tummy. And hold it there. And then exhale. And just release the breath. And then inhale another one. And bring it down into the tummy, into the sac. And one more. You're saying you can just breathe normally now and just rest your palms. You don't have to hold them together anymore. You can rest them palm up on your knees. And just feel the sensation in the palms. And feel that there should be sensation of some sort there. If you close your eyes and look at your palms, you might be able to see the glowing plasma. It'll most likely be anywhere between a pale baby blue and a pale aqua blue color. Next thing they're going to have us do is, they're calling this putting on your plasma mittens. And they've not done this with me before yet, so I'm learning too. Okay. Saying, let's once again, and just let the sac do its thing for now. Just let it set. But bring back to the palms. So bring the palms gently together again, but not touching. And curve the fingers in toward each other and get the little arcs going between the fingertips. Again, by pulsing the fingertips back and forth to build that charge between the tips without touching. Start to move them quite quickly. Those fingertips, pulsing the fingertips toward each other. And then start to circle them toward you. You may start to see little light shifts all around your tips of your hands. There'll be a certain point where these pop into a mitten. Where your fingers you will have a plasma mittens on. Hasn't done it yet for me, but I'm feeling it though. Try various ways of like vibrating your tips, your hands, I'm getting it where I'm vibrating it from the elbow, so it's making just gentle vibration. That seems to be building the charge stronger in the fingertips. It's like there's a pop point that you can build the quantum. When the pop point happens, it'll make the mittens. This looks really cool. I'm seeing them from here. I'm seeing like all these really neat swirls and stuff around the tips of my fingers. I don't know if you guys are. I hope so. Because it's really cool when you can see it. It's almost like you're vibrating like really quickly. Oh, cool. Okay. I got a pop. If you don't get a pop on it right now, you can play with this like later, and eventually it will. You'll find the right way to strike the vibration because it's a little different for everybody. But when the pop happens, it's almost like what it just felt like was it felt like a really soft, silky glove going down over my hands, but it's like a mitten-shaped one where it's in between my fingers now. And I can feel it a bit when I spread it. It's as if I'm spreading my hands inside a mitten. They're going to have us do something with these when we do the swimming pool thing. So they wanted to keep this in mind. When we do the swimming pool thing, they're going to transmit the next chi wave from chi site 2 in, through the water, and that will do the next stage of activating our Ari-Yon'Ah sac, and beginning the process of this amazing process of finally being able to heal our plasma bodies and banish our beasties and get our banshees off our backs. Finally, this will be so nice, right? Alrighty, I think we can put the lights back on now, if that's okay. Whoever's doing lights back there, please. Anybody else getting bitten by mosquitoes? Yes. Ouch. No. Really? Yeah. How many people had any effect where you felt you could feel the plasma in there? Awesome. That's really good. That's a good average because sometimes it takes a while for you to sense it. So if you didn't sense it, don't worry about it. You just play with it for a while, and over time you will sensitize to being able to do that. But that's awesome that many people felt it. How many people felt their mittens pop? Yay! That's good. That's good. Those who didn't, that's all right. Play with it some more. Like, when you go home tonight, you probably want to go to sleep. But whenever you have some time to play, just remember to play with them a little. I wouldn't do it like out in public because people would think you're spasming or something. They'll think you're a little loony, right? But when you can begin to feel those plasmas, when you can start to see them, how many people could see them? That's really good. That's really good. Eventually, if you haven't, you will eventually. If you can feel them, you can see them. It just may take a little while. The best way to start seeing them is to go into, actually, I like to black out my room completely and play with my plasmas. And because that's where you can start to really play with them fun, where you can say, okay, see if they bounce, and bounce them off the wall and see what happens. I do that sometimes. And you can also learn, there's another phase after you learn to activate them, and once the sac begins to open the integral bridge, we'll have more of an ability to do it. You can spew plasms, which is really cool. And they come out like, and you can do them fast, you can do them slow, and at first it's just fun to play with them. It's like, a new toy, but afterward, eventually you learn to use them in movement, and you create things. You create templates that will accrete the atoms and the light body structure to themselves. So it's the beginning of learning how to create things. Mosquito. Okay. Before we go into go out and do the pool thing, I want to go through the next part of the sea-free movement set. Yeah.
After E-LAi-sa connected and brought the pillar down and the keys, and she did something with my hands, and they were the best way to describe it is they were electric. They were like these charges coming out of the palm of my hand, and that stayed on for an extended period of time. You know, I thought, okay, it would be there. Okay, she's on to the next. It would go away, and then it stayed, and then it stayed, and then it stayed, and even on the ride home, it was there. And I went to bed, and multiple times throughout the day-to-day, there's been times where I'm like, okay, what's going on with the hands? So I get chills on the back of my neck as I'm talking about that now. So it certainly, thank you, has been a very neat experience, and I'm really interested to find out what unfolds after that. E-LAi-sa told me that she'd give me a fun little thing to be doing as I go home, so I'm really interested in that, and it's been a completely fascinating and wonderful experience to be here and have that experience. That's very interesting. I can also say that there have been some, and this has never happened before either, things that seem to be floating that I've seen a couple times I had never seen before either, so I'm not really sure what to make of that, except that other people have said, oh no, that's really what it is. Welcome, yes, thank you. Yeah.
Say welcome. Welcome to our world.
There we go. Yeah. So we'll see what unfolds after that in experiences. Yeah.
I think that is awesome that happened, because when we were doing the key passes at the beach, I thought it was kind of neat that you decided to come, probably out of curiosity. What is this going to look like, right? And you decided to play, like, okay, yeah, well,
yeah, why not?
Too. So I said, okay. And as I was getting ready to transmit, I realized that your palm chakras weren't opened yet; they weren't activated, and
I think they are now.